All right, so being that you're kind of restricted to do a whole lot of stuff right now, right? I figured I would just hang out, talk some hockey. I'm waiting for some food to get done. Drinking a Bell's Two Hearted Ale, and this is a really good beer, by the way. And I figured I would just talk about some hockey stuff going on. I mean, we just had the OHL draft that just got completed this past Saturday, and was pretty fun to follow, pretty fun to watch. A lot of high-end Americans got drafted as we figured they would. And in the OHL draft, there's usually a lot of U.S. kids that get taken anyway. But it was really interesting to see where Adam Fantilli went. It was cool being that after the third pick happened and he still didn't go. We all were kind of like, I mean, who's going to take him, right? And it's kind of funny. Eventually, as the draft went on and on, I mean, dare I say it, after like the 10th or 11th pick, I almost forgot. I was like, oh shit, Adam Fantilli's still on the board, right? Because you're seeing where these other guys are going, and things are kind of coming at you so quickly, and you just kind of tend to lose focus of who's going where and whatnot. You're just kind of following it as it's happening, and then all of a sudden I realized like, oh shit, no one's taken Adam Fantilli yet, and then Saginaw pulled the trigger at number 18. So, as many people have mentioned, I mean they draft really really well. They didn't always draft like that, but over the past, I'd say a solid 5-6 years, they've drafted really really well, and have gotten some really high end players that maybe had either committed elsewhere or had some potential other options, and maybe they did eventually or originally explore those options, and Saginaw still got them to come in maybe a year or two into their junior careers. Maybe they went to the U.S. NTDP, for a year or two, and then committed to Saginaw. So we'll see where that ends up going as far as that's all concerned. But anyway, yeah, I mean, like throughout the year, this is the first year when I really started to follow and track prospects. I mean, like I literally, it's kind of goofy, but I labeled this notebook 2019-20, and what I do is I literally will write down. So like, and it kind of starts, as you can see, like the World Junior Summer Showcase. And what I do is I write down the numbers and then what I think the player, did well throughout that game, so to speak. And then I match the number with the name. And naturally, you might print out a roster sheet and have that in front of you as well, just to kind of know who you're looking at. And a lot of these guys, okay, it's the World Junior Summer Showcase. We all know who these guys pretty much are anyway, right? But, and by the way, I've been to this event a handful of times when it's been held in Plymouth, Michigan. It's not too far from where I live in Ohio. I highly recommend you guys go if you have the chance to go and watch this. I actually had tickets to the IIHF World Under 18 Championships that were going to be held in, like 3 weeks up in Michigan. And it sucks, I mean, that you can't go and see it, but was really looking forward to seeing the, semifinal and bronze and gold medal games there. Would have been really cool. But yeah, I mean, I just do this because it's just so much fun, right? I mean, naturally the year starts out with the World Junior Summer Showcase. I mean, you have I even did this is kind of funny. I even did the Hockey Canada Summer Under 18 Selection Camp that they had in the summertime. Then you have the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, the U17 Five Nations, which goes on every summer. More Hlinka Gretzky Cups, stuff right here. The Traverse City Prospects Tournament. So here's the first day of the OHL regular season. Sudbury Wolves played the Niagara Ice Dogs. Let's see what I put about Quentin Byfield, number 55. Strips pucks, gets up the ice fast, can flat out bury. Great vision, wins face-offs, and is always a threat. Now here's the thing. I know you might say, well, I'm sure there's plenty more you could have wrote about Byfield in that game. Well, sure. But if you're very passionate about something, I think you tend to remember little intricate details a lot more. So therefore, you don't have to necessarily write down everything that the player's doing. Plus, at the end of the day, hockey's a fast-moving game to begin with, right? I mean, if you got your head buried writing down a small play that happened in the corner, while that might be very important, you might miss a goal that happens maybe 5 seconds afterwards. So, Byfield's someone that I've seen when he played with the York Simcoe Express in his minor midget days. Then obviously with a rookie with Sudbury. Then on to his draft year this year, playing with Team Canada at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. I mean, he's somebody that you can never get enough viewings of somebody, especially if you're a National Hockey League team. You want to get as many as you can, but he's somebody where you see him play, 25 times or so. It's like, okay, I have a good idea of just what this guy's all about. He's fast. He's so big and he moves so well. Uses his reach to his advantage. Can strip pucks from people. Like I just wrote in that. I mean, I noticed that he did that throughout the game against Niagara. He picks his head up. He has good vision. He has a super quick release, and it's fast and it's accurate. He can just flat out bury. He's one of the best prospects in the world for the 2002 birth year. Anyway, WHL game here, Prince Albert against the Saskatoon Blades. Flint and against, again, Niagara. The Beantown Fall Classic, which is a great event. I didn't get to go there. I mean, I was watching the streams of all of this. But some notes on that, USHL regular season game, Youngstown Phantoms against the USA U18s. The Wendy Dufton Memorial Tournament, which is a good one. The Whitby Silver Stick, and some stuff written on those guys. I actually was reviewing a lot of this before I just realized my mouth is like literally in the camera as I'm doing this. I was actually looking at a lot of these before the OHL draft that just happened. Just kind of seeing some of the guys that maybe aren't the household names for the OHL draft, let's just say, to those hockey diehards. So, and then here's, the New England Prep School League. If you scroll through any of my Twitter here, you'll see that I put a lot of notes out there for random New England Prep School games. People might think that's all I really follow. It's not, as you can see. Like here's a random U.S. minor midget 15 only between the Rochester Coalition and CompuWare at the 15 only level. I saw CompuWare actually play it a few times live this year. I went up to Michigan to see them play a couple of times. I also kind of fit it into the schedule where I knew I could be there to watch maybe the U18s play and maybe the CompuWare play the next day. I got a chance to go to the Budweiser Gardens in London, Ontario with my dad actually in November to see them play the Flint Firebirds, and on the way back, coming back over the border on that Saturday, the following day, we saw CompuWare play Little Caesars. So I'm always trying to find ways to go watch games, wherever it may be, whoever it may be. As long as it's elite level hockey, I'm down to watch it. And I've been taking notes on players now for a couple of years just because I want to, and it's a lot of fun to see where these guys kind of end up. So anyway, one thing I wanted to just talk about today real fast. I'm 8 minutes into this, so let's hurry the hell up, shall we? The New England Prep School Championships, which took place, I know, back on March 8th, and I wanted to just make a little video talking about some of the guys that I thought were really good in that. I mean, I haven't watched hockey in a couple of weeks. I watched this actually on demand. I watched it late. I wasn't able to watch them when they were live that day. But anyway, the first one here, the small school championship between the Gunnery Highlanders and the Pomfret Griffins. Gunnery won 5-3. Some guys that I thought were good. Now, let's say this off the bat. There's three guys out of the teams that I'm going to talk about today that I think two of them will absolutely get drafted, and a third might get drafted into the National Hockey League draft whenever they eventually hold that. Now, the first one that we all know plays for the Gunnery is Alex Jeffries, an 01 committed to Merrimack, and he's a late '01 birth year. And he's somebody that a lot of people have known about for a while, right? A lot's been written about him. But the other guy that I don't think gets as much attention, and I think he's very good, and I'm willing to bet if you talk to some scouts behind closed doors, they'd say if he's available late in the draft, we might take him, and that is Jared Crespo from Salisbury School. He's a fantastic D-man. As a guy that can walk the line, he can make guys miss. He literally, to an extent, almost challenges offensive forecheckers when he has the puck at the line. Can throw head fakes, shoulder fakes, get around guys, create more space for himself, gets pucks through, has his head up, makes good passes, makes good breakout passes. I'm not trying to say too much here. I've seen Salisbury play probably like between 10 and 12 times this year. I mean, they were a phenomenal team. I watched a shitload of Avon Old Farms as well. But Jared Crespo was phenomenal. I mean, he really, really grew on me as the year went on. Bayard Hall, one of the D guys on that team as well, is also draft eligible, committed to Yale. He was good, more of a defensive type. But Jared Crespo, in my opinion, probably besides Ian Moore of St. Mark's, who's committed to Harvard, who might be the first New England prep player off the board. Besides him, I think that Jared Crespo is maybe one of the next guys up as far as D-men in New England prep. But anyway, I'll talk about him in a second. Alex Jeffries, late '01, committed to Merrimack, up for the drafts. Was great here like he's been all year. Has a lethal shot, speed to the outside. He can strip pucks and just make quick plays immediately afterwards. He scores in tight, and he can score off of rebounds and do it very quickly. Has vision from the point. He made a great play where the puck came to him at the blue line. And a guy I'm about to talk about, Xander Lazat, who's a defenseman, was at the net side, and he threw like a perfect shot pass diagonally right to him, and he buried into the open part of the net. Xander Lazat is the other guy that I was going to talk about. He's like the third guy here. Xander Lazat is somebody that I think, if I'm an NHL GM, I'm looking at him and, I saw Gunnery play a solid probably 6 times or so this year. And I know that you probably want to see more, of course, but he showed me enough as the season went on, and especially here in this championship weekend. If I'm an NHL GM, just for example, I might be saying, where can we potentially slot this guy maybe late in the draft? It's such a deep year for the CHL. There's going to be other kids that are obviously with the NTDP, USHL, foreigners, some really elite players coming out of Sweden this year, Finland, Russia. But Xander Lazat is a guy that I don't know if he's going to get drafted. He very well might not. But I think he's going to be a guy where NHL scouts that obviously have taken notice of him, right? They're watching Gunnery to watch Alex Jeffries too. So you can't help but notice number 22, Xander Lazat, on defense. Played for the Rochester Selects 18U, along with Alex Jeffries in the fall. As far as I know, he's not college committed yet. But here's why I like him, okay? So first and foremost, there was a game that I watched in late January where Gunnery played Williston Northampton at Williston. It was a game that went into overtime in which Gunnery won, I believe, 4-3. I noticed throughout the game Xander Lazat was a guy that had foot speed, got up the ice pretty quickly. To a little bit of a lesser extent of Jared Crespo, can beat guys at the line, make them miss, throws head fakes, can take pucks off the wall, do a fake like he's going to walk the line and maybe quickly cut back towards the wall and get around a guy that way, which he's done multiple times. And I happened to just notice him throughout that game, and then as the game went into overtime, he was very instrumental in the game-winning goal. Puck came to him at the line. He flat out just beat a guy that was challenging him. He stepped around him and got a hard low shot on net, and I believe it was tipped by somebody to eventually win. But little things like that, along with how he played throughout the game, I remember noticing him. And then every time that I watched Gunnery after that, Of course you're watching your usual suspects like, Alex Jeffries and company, but I was like, I want to see more of what this guy does. Well, sure as hell, in this game, he scored a hat trick. He can play down low. Pretty much, he showed that he can bury the puck from anywhere here. Creeps into the play, makes himself dangerous, can be a difference maker, can take pucks off the walls and then gain more ice, especially at his offensive blue line. As I mentioned, that he did other times in other viewings, but when he continues to do that, it's something that you can eventually kind of say this is one of the hallmarks of this player's game. Their goaltender, Carmine Andrinovich, from Connecticut, he's an 0-2, played for the Yale Junior Bulldogs 18U in his fall split season hockey. He's up for the draft. There's going to be many other goaltenders that could go before him, but I think there's lots of games where maybe he's not tested as much throughout, but he makes the saves when he has to. He has, and I wrote this too, showed throughout the year that he's a good goaltender and can just win games. So there's that. Another guy, number 16, Dave Andrechuk from New Jersey. He's an 0-2. Again, played for the Rochester Selects along with Jeffries and Lizotte. Committed to St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence does a good job at finding guys like Dave Andrechuk. Guys that are just hard workers. Guys that really you wouldn't necessarily notice out there with an untrained eye and kind of seeing what they do well. For example, in this game I wrote down, moves pucks well in the neutral zone while not breaking the speed of the game. He can do it without sacrificing him and his team's offense. He can pass on. Well, okay, here's what I mean by he can pass on his backhand. There was a play or two where he received a breakout pass, and basically in one stride, he catches it on his forehand and can quickly go to his backhand and throw a good, quick little sauce pass to a guy streaking through center in the neutral zone. He just moves the puck really well. He was also really good on the penalty kill and very good on the D side of the puck. He really pressured the team Pomfret as they were breaking the puck out, can really cause some havoc back there, and I think he has a lot of upside. Another guy that stood out here too is number 21, Michael Casey. Okay, now he's from Pennsylvania. He's an 0-2. He's not going to get drafted, I don't think. But he was noticeable in this game. Gets pucks to the net. He has good touch on his pucks, on his passes. He's one of those guys that can stop when he gets over the line and hit one of the trailers coming into the zone. He's a guy that has his head up, tries to make good plays. So I think there's a guy that I think teams will watch him to see where he potentially can progress and where he goes from here. I think he will eventually be college committed as well. I don't think he is right now. So for the Pomfret Griffins, Andrew Shearson from Illinois. He's a 2000, played for the Rhode Island Hitmen 18U, committed to Middlebury in NCAA Division III hockey. He was really good here. He saw the puck well, had quick reactions on good chances, makes good low saves, good body positioning, and he there was a play where he made a really good reaction save. He had like a split second to make his decision, where there was a guy for gunnery on the breakaway, and he made a really nice save, really in close on that breakaway chance. He was good. Another guy that I liked, number 4, Ryan Kosinski, Massachusetts kid, 2000 born, played for the Rhode Island Hitmen 18U in the fall along with Andrew Shearson. He was decent throughout this game. He scored a pretty good goal, top shelf, can slow the play down, he has pace up the ice, and he's a solid puck mover. One more guy I'll mention for the Pomfret Griffins, and this was the first time I saw them play, but Kyle Tomaso, number 2, stood out for me. Massachusetts kid, born in 2000. Again, another guy that played for the Rhode Island Hitmen 18U. There was a play where he showed patience going low to high on an assist where he could have probably just panicked and just jammed it on net because he was pretty much right there, but had the presence of mind to stop, pick his head up, find an open guy that was kind of semi-cross ice and hit him with a good pass. And thus led to a goal. and thus doing that, he showed some pretty good hockey sense under pressure. A few other plays where he made some good assists from the corner and found some guys. And he also had a few plays where he liked to go wide, try to get ice for himself, and also fight to get to the net. It's one thing to just go wide, and maybe you're a guy that just takes it around the net and kind of does nothing with it. It's another thing to try to go wide with purpose and either beat the D, get to the front of the net, or maybe even draw that defender down low to try and quick spin back and bring the puck either from low to high or try and catch somebody that's coming through the slot. So that was that game right there. Oh, I probably should say, I don't know if I mentioned Alex Jeffries. Was good here like he's been great all year. Has a lethal shot, speed to the outside, can strip pucks, and make quick plays after. Oh, no, I did. I did talk about Alex Jeffries. Jesus, I'm sorry. I had like 15 beers. No, I'm kidding. I didn't have 15 beers. So the next game, the large school championship, the Loomis Chaffee Pelicans against the Cushing Academy Penguins. Loomis won 2-0. Now, to talk about Cushing real fast here, we all know about Lucas Gustafson. He's an 0-2, played for the Eastern Mass Senators 18U team in the fall, committed to the Boston College Eagles. He just gets involved, steps up, moves around the zone with the puck pretty well. Overall, just sees the ice, has speed, and he can get around guys. You know, he's a D-man that can actually challenge guys one-on-one and actually beat them. Another guy that I liked here was, now, I'm kind of intrigued by number 12, Cameron Lund. He's from Massachusetts. He's an 04, so he's young. Played for the Eastern Mass Senators 16U in his split season hockey. He's got a good shot from far out. Puck seems to just stay with him, and it's also pretty tough to take it from him as well. Sometimes keeps the puck a little bit too long, led to a turnover and a few chances for Loomis in this game. But the reason why I wanted to make sure that I watched him here is the first time I saw him, I happened to notice him in a game that I saw them play against Kimball Union Academy. Now, we all know Kimball Union with guys like Adam Fantilli, Thomas Mazura, a kid that's drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. There's literally an NHL draft pick on that team. Luca Fantilli as well on defense. So they're a team that was really, really good this year. Cushing was good too. But in that game, Cam Lund really challenged guys. I mean, he had a motor to him. He was all over the ice trying to make plays. He was being creative. He showed a lot of confidence. He didn't really back down. And I really like that, especially from a kid that's an 04. So here he was good. He showed kind of similar characteristics, but he didn't create, and he wasn't as effective as he was in that one game. But again, a guy that I'm mentioning because I think that he could potentially turn some heads here down the line. Hey, we'll see how he develops. Billy Norcross, number 7 for Cushing, was really good as well. He's a guy whose name's been out there for a little bit, even though he's just an 03. Played for the Eastern Mass Senators 18U for his split season hockey, committed to the Boston College Eagles, along with Lucas Gustafson. Now, this guy's a playmaker that can set guys up from pretty much anywhere, tough on pucks, and also tough on pucks behind the net. Just an overall good player. He's a guy where if you watch Cushing play, you're going to notice number 7, Billy Norcross, out there. He's good and does a lot of good things out there. Now, Loomis Chaffee, goaltender 29, Kyle Chauvette. From New Hampshire, he's an 01, played for the Yale Junior Bulldogs 18U program in the fall, is a Holy Cross commit, and he could get drafted this year. Again, going to be tough. He's a late 01, by the way, so he's up for the 2020 draft. And, we'll see. He could be one of these wild card guys where you'll never know, man. I mean, you'll never know. It's funny when you follow the draft, at any level, whether it be the OHL priority selection like we just saw this weekend with, a lot of different guys going in different spots than a lot of us thought. When you're in the room with these teams and these GMs and these scouts, you'll never know. They might have guys that are higher up on their list than others, which makes this so exciting, which makes watching games like this so exciting. Some things I had for Kyle Chauvette in this game here, he was flat out great, and one of the reasons why they won. He made some quick stops down low. I literally wrote this. He just stops pucks. Moves laterally really well and makes some really good saves, makes some tough saves look easy. So I believe I saw that he is committed to, well, he's committed to Holy Cross, I said that, but I think he's going to play in the North American Hockey League next year. He's not going to go back to prep. There's no reason for him to go back to prep. Kennedy O'Connor, kid from Massachusetts. He's an 01. Played again for the Yale Junior Bulldogs, 18U. It's always a pretty loaded program. And he's committed to the UMass Minutemen. He's a guy that plays more of a simple kind of game. He gets some shots on net. He has an active stick. He also can power play a quarterback, though. So he shows, and that's probably one of the reasons why he's college committed. And was also really good on the D side of the puck. So he's a guy that did some good things out there. For the forwards, three guys that a lot of people that might follow prep hockey or prospects from this region will know. Anthony Cipollone, 02, committed to Vermont. Alexander Krause, in 01, committed to Dartmouth. And Cody Hoban from Connecticut, committed to Dartmouth as well. Cody Hoban scored a rebound goal in this game, was the eventual game winner. Alexander Krause, he had a really good play where he cut to the net front around a defenseman. He kind of turned up the jets at the last second, got around the D, cut to the net, and he got a really good shot on goal. Was a really good power move. Anthony Cipollone, he can take tough passes and also, use his edges well and his quick reaction to cut and get around guys. Also, he intercepts plays and makes it tough on the opposition, so some things I wrote on that. And for the last one here, the Elite Eight Championship, the Salisbury Crimson Knights against Dexter Southfield. Salisbury won 3-0. Some things I'll say really fast about Dexter Southfield. Goaltender Dylan Silverstein from California. He's an 04. Played for the Neponset Valley River Rats 16U team in the fall. This is my first time seeing Dexter, so you can't go. One thing I've learned is you can't kind of go crazy with what you think about players because it's your first time obviously viewing them. But I saw flashes of why he's going to play next year for the U.S. National Under-17 team. He comes out and challenges shooters. He's very confident. And he also, I kind of put it this way, and I'm no goaltending guru, obviously, right? I just kind of spit out what I see. But he scrambles athletically to make saves. That's one of the things I notice about his game. He might be scrambling, but he has purpose to it. It's very controlled. Number 3, John Fusco, Massachusetts. He's from Massachusetts. He's an 01, committed to Harvard. Can really twist and turn on his skates to evade forecheckers and maintain control of the puck. Can also recover on pucks too. So if he's chasing a guy or they happen to chip pucks past him, he's got good speed, good feet to get back there and retrieve pucks. And he's also tough along the boards below the dots defensively as well. Ben Raymond, I liked him, number 18. From Massachusetts, he's an 01, played for the Neponset Valley River Rats 18U, and he's college committed to the Colgate Raiders of the ECAC. So this kid flat out had lots of speed. I mean, you couldn't watch this game without noticing this kid's speed and at least writing about it. He can simply fly down the wing. He also ripped the post on a rush pretty early. So he can really get on teams. He also, I wrote too, there was another play where he blew past another defender and got another attempt on net. So he's a guy that uses his speed to his advantage. Naturally, as you go up the levels, it's going to be tougher and tougher to just use that to get around guys. But at this level, which the New England prep level is an elite level of hockey, he might have been the fastest guy out there, to be honest. Another guy I'm going to mention here is Doug Grimes. Now, he's a kid from Massachusetts. He's an 02. Played for the Cape Cod Whalers 18U in the fall. Committed to the Boston University Terriers. And a lot of people think that he might get drafted. So, on this certain game, I didn't see the hype. However, it's one hockey game, right? But, however, there was a play where he absolutely buried a guy as he was trying to rush to the net. I forgot who it was. But this guy was trying to make a power move to cut towards the slot area, and he came out of nowhere and literally rode the guy into the boards. So that was a good play. But I mean, I would like to see more of them. I might even watch some. I mean, I have a Hockey TV subscription. I might watch some of their home games to see more of him because I know that he is good for him to garner a lot of attention from people. For Salisbury School, so goaltender Nick Haas, he's from New York. He's an 0-1. Played for the Rochester Selects 18U in the fall. That team was loaded. He's a guy that could potentially maybe get drafted. Who the hell knows? He just wins hockey games. He flat out just wins hockey games. Doesn't do too much in net, but he's very positionally sound to get him those wins and make sure that his team has that chance to win. He doesn't really move in net. That's one of the things I guess I'll say about him is he's just very positionally sound. Number 4, Jared Crespo. I already touched on him early. From New Jersey, 0-2, committed to the Penn State Nittany Lions, and he will, in my opinion, get drafted. There's no way this kid can't get drafted. Now, I've seen a lot of them, so my notes on him in this game were a little bit less. But I wrote down he's just so slick. Makes guys miss all over the place. He can be a one-man breakout. He can be the first in on pucks. There was a play where on a dump-in, he was literally the F1 and got to the puck first in the offensive zone. He's just really good. He's so smooth. Really doesn't make a mistake out there. I'm really, really high on this guy. Jared Crespo, remember that name. AJ Kasperson. He grew on me throughout the year. Played for, well, surprise, Rochester Selects 18U in the fall. Really smart player. Plays guys one-on-one well, and just an overall reliable D-man. That's what I put for him. I think he was good. Some other guys that I'll put here, and again, this is just for this game, but Cole Eichler. Kid from Ontario, he's an 03, played this year for the Yale Junior Bulldogs, 16U in the fall. Now, Cole Eichler, and I'm starting to like how I see some pretty good Canadian players coming down to play in the New England Prep League because they're realizing not just how good of a league it is, but some of the other opportunities that it can offer you. Now, Cole Eichler played on that loaded Don Mills Flyers team last year with the likes of, Shane Wright, Brennan Othman, Liam Armsby, Roman Schmidt on the back ends. The list literally goes on and on. Now, he's a guy where, in all the times I saw Salisbury play, he was okay, but he made a great play here on the goal to make it 3-0. He had a lot of patience on a toe drag. He deked around the defenseman, and he slid the pass over to Lucas Mercury, who is a Vermont commit, who tapped it into the open part of the net. But that play was made by Cole Eichler's skill and a little bit of patience right there. It was a really good play. Oliver Frontini, kid from my area, from Ohio. He's an 0-2, played for the Rochester Selects 18U. Don't think he's going to get drafted, but he set up the first goal by breaking the puck loose in the corner, got to the slot, protected it well, and he fed Massimo Lombardi, who buried to make it 1-0. Jake Quillen is the other guy I wrote down too. He's an 0-2, played for the Rochester Selects 18U. He is committed to Quinnipiac. He's college committed. And one of the things that he did here, this is why I wrote him down. Plays like this matter. Late in the game, they were up, maybe it was 2-0 or 3-0. I can't remember. Dexter, I believe, pulled their goaltender. And they won the face-off. So the face-off was in Salisbury's D zone. Dexter won the face-off. And immediately he read the play what was about to happen. The guy that won the draw back behind the centerman was feeding a guy pretty close to his right for a one-time opportunity. And he came like a bullet and used his stick, made his body long, got there, intercepted the play, not cleanly, but disrupted the puck and just chipped it out into the neutral zone as best as he could. thus just making them obviously exit the zone, right? I mean, little plays like that go a long way, and it was a good play by Jake Quillen, um, who's a decent player. So again, that's kind of a long-winded way of talking about the New England Prep School Championships. I'm going on 36 minutes here, so I just wanted to do that because I was a little bit bored and wanted to throw some names out there for some people to maybe have some thoughts about and get access to that you might not normally hear about on an everyday basis. So that's that, and maybe I'll make another one talking about some more guys here in the future. So, all right, later.